Steve Nash was one of the greatest passers of all time. His basketball awareness and basketball IQ is off the charts. And if you want to become a better passer and a better point guard, definitely there are a lot of things that Steve Nash did that we can incorporate into our game. So let's get down and let's check out Steve Nash. Okay, so first off, he denies the screen because his man was slightly cheating. When he attacked that rim, he drew that second defender, and he was able to then get that pass through to his teammate, who was also cutting towards the rim, who was able to finish with a massive dunk. So first off, this man, the defender, he tried to cut off the screen so that Steve Nash was unable to use that screen. Anytime a player starts cheating up to try to cut off a screen, you need to go back and cut back the opposite direction. And we can see that here. At this time, his main defender stayed with him, while Steve Nash did have a slight advantage on the speed that drew that hedge defender, in which case now Steve Nash was going essentially 1-on-2. At this time, his teammate was wide open. There was two different ways that he could get that ball to him. He could have lobbed that ball over top, or he could do a fancy pass like this one behind his head. Now, why was this more of a better option? Well, of course, a lot of older school coaches may say that this is a low percentage pass and should have never happened at the youth level, and believe me, at the youth level this can happen too if you obviously practice it. But if he tried a behind the back pass, this defender would have picked that off. If he did the lob, first off, this man was not in position to do that, but this guy was ready to jump to be able to block that pass. Behind the head was the only option, and because of that, he was able to get that pass through. Here we see that when that screen came, that hedge defender came up prematurely. Because that was the case, that man rolled, his teammate rolled towards the basket earlier, and with that shot fake that Steve Nash did, he was able to get that pass through easier because that raised that main defender of his up, which then allowed a passing window to open in multiple different areas. He took the lower one so that it was easier to get that ball through, so that, of course, his teammate was able to finish with that layup. Now, this is, of course, an older clip of Steve Nash. One-hand bounce pass to his teammate, which led him to a nice reverse layup. Now, the reason why this worked was because, yes, there was a window open and a lane open to make that pass. He led his man with that pass. He was able to recognize that his man had position on his defender and that that man of his on his team had an open lane. And because that window was open, that one-hand pass, this is why a one-hand pass is very important in basketball. Don't ever let anyone say that it's not. A one-hand pass can really help you gain an advantage. And of course, he was able to get it to his teammate. Again, another one-hand pass that was very, very amazing was right here. He was able to get that bounce pass through literally between the feet. This is why, of course, passing accuracy is very important, but a bounce pass was able to get through because those two players were super close. If you wanted to do a chest pass or a lob here, that main defender right here would have been able to pick that off. And a lob pass here would have allowed Kobe Bryant to come over a lot easier. These defenders could have collapsed on him a much easier. A bounce pass is able to get through, in this case, a lot more times than not, and because of that, his teammate was able to finish with that layup. This is why a one-hand bounce pass is a very good pass to know, because of course, when you make this pass, if either of those feet touch that ball, it's not a turnover. It's going to be a kickball, and it's still your ball. So that's not a risky pass whatsoever, and it was able to get to his teammate very easily. Being able to dribble with your head up as well is very beneficial. Here, he's got a teammate who looks to be Amari Stoudemire with this blurry footage, and he was able to send up a nice lob alley-oop dunk. Again, always looking ahead, looking for players who have a lane. If there's defenders who are not paying attention, their backs are to that open lane, definitely send that lob up to your teammate who is cutting towards the basket, because that will allow them to get easy points. Now, of course, this is a strategy that you can use with the players who can dunk, so if you're a bit younger, this might not be for you, but if you're attacking the rim and you draw a defender and you've got another player who is coming down on the wing, definitely send up the lobs, because a lob is a very, very easy dunk to happen for those who can dunk. This lob was sent right literally in front of the rim, which is perfect for that player. Also, on a fast break, if you're going one-on-one and you've got a teammate or two who are essentially by your side, if you can attack that one player to draw his attention to you, you now created an open lane and an open opportunity for your teammate. Behind the back passes are also very, very important. This is one thing that I am a very big fan of, as players, if they can hit that pass, they have to practice it. If you're not practicing this pass, you are not going to be able to do it in game. But you can draw a defender in this case, and when he drew that defender, there was no passing lane open in front of Steve Nash. However, there was a wide open passing lane behind him. He's able to see that passing lane. He's able to see that player, and he was able to hit that pass. But this is not a pass that you can hit without practicing. And I don't mean being in practice and jumping and chucking up a pass behind your back. I'm talking about you can literally stand in one spot and you can have two basketballs going, one being dribbled and the other one being a pass behind your back, hits a wall and bounces back. Meanwhile, you bounce past or you cross over that secondary ball and you can keep on going. Where you can have two basketballs, this hand is always crossing over to this hand while this hand is doing a behind the back pass to a wall and back. That is one drill that you can use to be able to improve your behind the back passing skills. Steve Nash was also very good at using screens here. He did a very quick hesitation and then he attacked and split that screen. By splitting that screen, he now created an opportunity to go 2-on-1. When he created that opportunity, he drew that defender over, which then opened up a lane for his teammate to cut and drew in that wing defender in the 2-3 zone. He was then able to kick that ball out by, of course, passing behind him. He also had another player open over here, which is why everyone was looking in that direction as well, because Steve Nash was looking in that direction, but that behind the back pass was able to get to his teammate, who was then able to drain that three. Being able to look in other directions, being able to hit those passes behind your back is super important. If you are looking to become a good passer, you need to be able to pass in more than just 3 ways. You can't just be looking at chest passes or bounce passes or even one-hand passes. You need to be working on multiple different ways of passing the ball, because that will allow you to open up more passing lanes for yourself so that you can get your teammates open. Because there are multiple different ways of passing a basketball, and it's never out of control as long as you know and are able to hit that pass accurately. If you're not able to hit a pass accurately, that's when it's out of control and your coach might yell at you. But if you hit it accurately and strong, it's no longer an out of control pass, and it's actually a smart pass, in my opinion. I hope that you've enjoyed today's video. If you have, hit that like button, subscribe, and I'll see you guys again next time.